created this queen. Elegance, power on the scene. Restart, rebuild, rise. Restart, rebuild, rise. Restart, rebuild, rise. Watch a real queen come alive. I'm the prize. You're the prize. We're the prize. Restart, rebuild, rise. Let's go. One more time. God created this queen. Elegance, power on the scene. Restart, rebuild, rise. Restart, rebuild, rise. Restart, rebuild, rise. Watch a real queen come alive. I'm the prize. You're the prize. We're the prize. Restart, rebuild, rise.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the live. I am super excited. Welcome to another powerful episode of 100 Queens who restart, rebuild, and rise. I am your host, Samantha Hill, founder of Confidence Shift, author of Shift Your Confidence, Miss Mississippi Corporate America 2026, and president of Miss Mississippi Corporate America 2027. This platform was created to give our queens a safe space to be seen, to be heard, and empowered as we restart, rebuild, and rise in every area of their lives. And I am so grateful that you are here with us tonight. So before we start, let's do a check-in, okay? So I want you to drop your city and state in the comments. Let us know where you are joining from tonight. All right, and tag another queen who needs this encouragement, that confidence, and just a reminder that her voice has value. If you are watching the replay, type replay in the comments so that we can come back and show you some love. And grab your pen and paper now because you want to take copious notes. Because at the end of this call, we will do a Q&A. So save all your questions for then. All right. We also have a special giveaway opportunity later tonight. You must stay until the end and be present when your name is called to win. All right. So type I am staying in the comments. If you are here, type I am staying. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. So stay here, interact throughout the entire live. Okay. So y'all know how I am. I got to start with my special prayer. Lord, bless this room, bless this conversation, and bless every queen listening. Give her what she needs to restart, rebuild, and rise. Amen. 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 All right. Tonight's conversation is about recognizing that what God placed inside of you has value and it deserves to be shared. All right. So the question is, have you ever talked yourself out of an opportunity? Have you ever felt like your voice didn't matter? Maybe you thought, nobody wants to hear my story. Someone else is already doing that. All of those things, all that negative conversation we have with ourselves. I'm too old. I'm not qualified. I'm not ready yet. That kind of language that we have with ourselves. But Queen, tonight we are going to talk about why your voice matters. We are going to talk about why your story matters. And we are going to talk about why the world may be waiting for the very thing that you have and afraid to share. But before we begin tonight's interview, I have something special that I would like to share with you. All right? So, Queen, I'm just super excited. Y'all got to look over me if I'm giggling a lot because I'm super excited. As many of you may or may not know, I recently accepted the honor of serving as president of Miss Mississippi Corporate America 2027. Okay, this opportunity is about much more than putting together a competition or placing a crown on someone's head. It's about creating opportunity for the queens, for the women to grow in confidence, to grow in leadership, business, that sisterhood. It's all about sisterhood and growing on purpose. All right. So as I started preparing for this journey, I knew I needed the right queen right beside me. So I began thinking and praying about who should serve as my vice president. All right. Someone, whose heart aligns with the mission of empowering other queens. So I am super excited to officially announce that tonight's guest, our special guest, will also be serving alongside me as Vice President of Miss Mississippi Corporate America. Yes. Give it up, give it up. Yeah, I am super excited, and I know that you are going to be as well. I see congratulations in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see all the love. Thank you. I see CC. Of course, I see Brian, okay? But let me tell you about this beautiful queen. She is known as the success strategist. She is an international bestseller author, speaker, publisher, media host, and director of Chosen Pen Group, a hybrid publishing company. All right, so through her book, her publishing platform, and all the amazing things about her podcast, her speaking engagement, she helps amplify the voice of authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, and purpose-driven leaders. Her powerful message can be summed up in 4 words. Your voice has value. Okay, 4 words. Your voice has value. Put that in the chat right now. Your voice has value. That message aligns beautifully with the confidential, the 100 Queens who restart, rebuild, and rise in the vision of Miss Mississippi Corporate America. I am honored to have her serve beside me as Vice President. Queens, I introduce to some of you, and I present to others my Vice President and tonight's special guest, Dr. Anissa Short. Dr. Anissa, welcome to 100 Queens who restart, rebuild, and rise.
Well, Madam President, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Thank you for the invitation to hang out with you in this space. And to everyone who's here with us live, hello. And for those who watch us later, hello. And I'm excited about what the future holds. I really am. Thank you for extending the invitation to be a part of Miss Mississippi Corporate America as Vice President. I consider that an honor. It's not anything I pursued or even ever considered, but it does align with the work that I have been doing. And if I may introduce myself, I am a woman on a mission, one with a plan, with passion and purpose to do all I can to enrich the lives of others, for that will be my claim to fame. I am delighted to be here. Dr. Anissa Short is my name.
All right. Thank you so much for all those kind words you said about me as well. Those words truly mean much more to me than you know. I am grateful that you said yes to serving along beside me. I believe that God brought us together during this season for a reason, and I am excited about what we're going to build for the Queens of Mississippi. All right, so now that everyone has had an opportunity to meet us as president and vice president, let's get into tonight's powerful conversation, because tonight is about helping every queen listening under this. Your voice has value. I just love that. Okay, so look, Dr. Anissa, before we begin our official question, let's set the tone. So briefly tell us, well, you kind of did that, but tell us, everyone, about why, let's talk about the book, why I said yes, and what inspired you to write this book.
Okay, great question. Thank you for asking. Why I Said Yes is my most recent release. It came out in the month of May, just prior to my 28th wedding anniversary. And the book
Oh,
focuses on, it shares snippets of my journey of meeting my husband, becoming the woman he pursued, and my decision to say yes to his invitation to become his wife. Now, here's the thing I want everyone to understand. When he and I met, I was happily single. I mean, just tickle pink. I love my single life and I lived my life like it was golden. So we met at a conference. Our relationship started as colleagues, it became friendship, and then he indicated that he wanted more. And so, one of the reasons why I wrote the book is because friends of mine and people who know our story would say, "You guys need to write a book. You need to tell your story." Well, I consider that an honor for people, and I thank people for considering our story, publishing worthy. But I didn't want to just write the story just for the sake of writing it. It had to be a greater purpose behind it. And because I've been working with women in a business, in a Lord since 1999, I've worked women with women that are entrepreneurs, home-based business owners. I've worked with a lot of women in getting their books published. I understand the dynamic of what it is to be a woman that's high achieving, a woman that's entrepreneurial, a woman that's a wife, a mom, single mom, all of the things. But there's one
yeah.
aspect of my community are the single women, all the single ladies.
Mm,
And so many of them
mm,
desire marriage, but they're so frustrated with the process. They've said a lot of things. And so I said, well, I feel like my responsibility in telling my story, our story, or snippets of it, was not just to tell the story, but also to convey the characters that led the characteristics, rather, that I saw in my husband that gave me the confidence to say yes and not doubt it. There was a time that I said yes to an invitation to be married, but the whole time I was not comfortable with who I was saying yes to. And I had the foresight, thank God, to end the relationship before we married. But this time around, I was comfortable in my decision. I was confident and comfortable because of the characteristics I
mhm.
saw and who he was during our almost 2 years of courtship. And it wasn't about
Yeah.
him having a certain dollar amount in way of a salary. It wasn't about him
Uh-huh.
being 6'1" and 210 and having muscles in all the right places. Although he is a nice looking man,
Mm.
it was more than that. It was a foundational premise. And sometimes I think we get distracted as women on the things that are important, but that are not, that make a difference, but they're not important. The things that we need to be building on have more value, they carry more weight. And so that's what the book is about.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that. I really do. That is truly amazing, and especially where it came from. It wasn't just
Mhm.
like you said, just okay. Let me write about my life. It
Yeah.
actually has meaning behind it. So, for the queens that are meeting you for the first time, let us know what inspired your mission to helping others to recognize that their voice has value.
It started in my entrepreneurial journey, to be honest with you. I kind of dibbled and
Hmm.
dabbled even while working as a federal employee, where really in every aspect for which I was employed, I ended up being a trainer mentor. And many times I was always working in a space where, women outnumbered the men. One of the biggest things that
Hmm.
I have found across the board is that women don't always show up with the level of confidence that they portray. They look good, they have on the shoes, they got the nice handbag, they've got the
Okay.
nails are done, the hair is laid, the
Mhm.
lashes are lashing, but then their level of confidence does not show up the way they show up. And that's not to be
Right.
judgmental or critical, it's just the fact of the matter. And so as an entrepreneur, I worked in a direct sales environment where I mentored women, and so I found myself
Mhm.
pouring into them and helping to build up their confidence. Women can do
Mm.
anything they put their minds to do, but a lot of times,
Yes.
because of life circumstances, because of traumas, because of experiences, we become defeated and we stay in that place too long. Fast forward,
Mm.
when I made a decision in 2017 to write my first book to support the entrepreneurial community that I had been working in, I found another way in which to encourage people, mostly women, but men as well, on the
Mhm.
importance of them telling their stories. As a Christian, I believe we
Yeah.
overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. As a Christian, the Bible tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And much of what we've experienced in life and have overcome, society wants us to be shamed and to be quiet about it when really we need to tell the story because someone is waiting to hear that you went through the same thing they're facing and that you've overcome, so they need to have hope.
Right.
So as a
Yeah.
publisher now, I say your voice has value. I really believe that everyone has a story to tell, and their story can be their life story in a memoir. Their story can be lessons learned that they convert to a devotional. Their story can be, what they learned as they climb the career ladder because there's someone else that's needing those nuggets. It can be of value to someone, and I don't want people to go to the grave with all of that necessary information that should be shared. And so, as a publisher now
Yeah.
and a publishing coach, that's my mission. Your voice has value. Not only do you need to speak and tell your story, but you need to publish it so it lives beyond you.
Exactly. That legacy. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
exactly. I love that. And look, Queens, if you have ever questioned yourself whether your voice matters, I want y'all to put a heart in the comments. We like to be real, we like to be open because like she said, you're not alone. There's always somebody that needs to hear your story because they can relate. And if you can relate with Dr. Anissa's um, uh, story, I want you to put in the chat a heart. Just put your heart in the comments, okay? So, Dr. Nilsson, what would you say to those queens who have been just balancing herself because of that fear, that rejection, that self that doubt, that trauma in her life? What would you say to that queen?
Fear is normal. That means you're human. So when I meet a woman who, even in the entrepreneurial space, and she started her business and she says she's nervous and she's fearful, my response is always, "Well, congratulations. That means you're human." Everybody does. They feel the fear, but you got to push through it. The only way to overcome it is to push through it. You become stronger. It's like a muscle. Courage is a
Uh-huh.
muscle that develops as you push through the fear. So for those who might be fearful, I understand. I empathize with where you are. I once was fearful, and every now and then I can become a little nervous about things. But as you push past fear, it becomes easier. The other thing I would recommend is that you find a community of others that may make you feel uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is you don't want to be in a community of other people that are woe is me like you. Woe is me, and then she say, "Woe is me too." And then someone else says, "Woe is me three." You just in the woe, you just whoa, whoa, whoa. I understand we need people to vent to and to share our stories, but you need to be in a community where people are going to say, "Listen, sis, I understand where you are. I was once that way too, but you got to push through it." We need accountability partners. We need power partners. We need pushers. And so I would recommend that you find a community of people to connect with that challenge you to reach beyond where you are and to push past the fear and to do the doggone thing because everything you really desire is outside your comfort zone. And if you stay with the people that you're around, that's your comfort zone, you're probably not going to experience the more that you truly desire. So that's what I would tell them, Samantha. I don't say that's what I will tell them. That is the message I convey.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And, I was just looking in my notes because actually one of my mentors mentioned something on our Wednesday motivational call, and I was trying to check my notes. I do know that he always say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're
Absolutely.
not uncomfortable, you're not moving. You're not moving, you're not growing. But he also said something that you brought up about fear. He said, faith and fear requires the same thing, the same energy. Is all about what you believe. So even if you get to choose if you're going to have faith or if you're going to have fear. Of course, like you said, we're going to have that fear, but you using the same amount of energy.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it
And
does.
I
It does.
really love, yeah, seeing is not believing. And I love that he said that you can't see faith or fear. You can't see neither one of them, but you can
Mm-mm.
believe and choose, right? So I
Right.
do. I love that you mentioned that because I mean they just intertwine with each other, and I do. I love that. Okay. So my next question is about your book. Okay. So through your book, show us your book. Show us your book.
You know what? Let me see if
um.
I grabbed a copy of a book, but it's not. It was the one I wrote before this one. Hold on. I hate to do
Okay.
this, but
Okay.
hold on. I do have it. I
Oh,
have it. I have it. I have it. I have a copy right here. Hold
okay.
one second.
Okay. Okay. You fine. I'll be talking while you while you're looking for it. Okay. So what I was saying is I was talking about because I've actually ordered the book, but I hadn't received it, so I'm waiting on it. All right. So through
The
you might
screen
have to
off.
look closer because you got that the
I'm gonna
back
take the
the
screen off.
background. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, we're gonna show it when it's really the right time to show it. But through your books, you have plenty of books. Like you said, you chose one, but it wasn't that particular one that we're talking about today. But she has many books, so I definitely want y'all to look her up, check out all the amazing energy and she has put into her books. It's straight from the heart. I love the things that she talk about in her book. So through your books, your publishing company, your podcast, you have amplified the voices of others. So tell me, why do you believe so many women have challenges and they struggle to share their story?
Because they don't have well, one of the biggest, I think one of the biggest hurdles that many of us have to overcome, and this is men and women, is accountability. We're not accountable. No one holds us accountable. Let me say it that way. So, one,
Mm-hmm.
that could be the reason why we don't push past and do the thing that we know we should do. Another can be distractions. Distractions are a trick of the enemy. We become very comfortable in our routine. And when you
Right.
are wanted to do more and to make a bigger impact, it's going to require you make some adjustments. You're going to have to pivot,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't because pivoting doesn't feel comfortable. Goes back to what you said before. It can create a little fear, doing something different. Think about COVID. When COVID-19 hit, our whole world changed over in a matter of days, right? People
Yes.
became
Right.
very nervous. Many of us that were going into an office, they said we're gonna have to now start working virtually. Oh my God, I don't know. We got to start using Zoom. Oh my God, I don't know how to use Zoom. We're gonna have to start using some of these virtual platforms. And so many entrepreneurs that I know refuse to make the pivot, and they're no longer in business. So I believe sometimes we don't attain the level of success or create the quality of life we desire is because, one, we're not in a community that holds us accountable, because being held
Mm.
accountable doesn't feel good. And two, because we allow distractions to hold us back.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is very powerful.
Mm.
And it's Queens, your story does not have to be perfect to be powerful. Okay?
Yeah.
If you believe your story could help someone else, I want y'all to drop a fire emoji because I think I truly believe all of us have trauma in the past.
And it
We
doesn't even
all
have to,
we all have
it
trauma.
doesn't have to be always trauma. It could be
Trauma.
the trauma that you
Right,
overcome.
right,
It could be that you have successfully built a 50-year marriage. What's the secret
right.
to that? It could be that
Yeah.
you've climbed the corporate ladder and now you're a
Mhm.
sweet executive. What are the lessons you
Mhm.
learned in the midst of that climb? You raised a house full of
Right, right.
kids and then some. What was the key to raising those kids? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
We look at the extravagant, but that's not, everybody doesn't need the extravagant. Some of us just need to know how to cross the
Mhm.
street without getting hit. How do you do that?
Right. That's a good one, and that makes a lot of sense. But it doesn't. It doesn't have to be trauma. It can actually be, But sometimes how you overcame, or how you do this, or how you do that. The God bless each and every one of us with a different um, passion, with a
Exactly.
different skill. So we need to share it,
We
and
do.
when we share it, we are definitely doing it from the heart to help the next person.
That's
So
true. And
yes,
that's a
I
good point.
love exactly what you said.
And that's
Hmm.
that's a
So
very
yes,
valid point. Go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
what I was going to add to what you said is that, we all have a different story. First of all, you made reference to a stop waiting for things to be perfect. I don't know what perfect is. What's the standard for perfect? There is no such thing as perfection.
Progress.
It's
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
progress, and it's doing things in the spirit of excellence. That's what I encourage. But here's the thing: two women could overcome the same trauma, but their stories are different. So sometimes we'll say,
Mm.
well, I don't want to tell my story because I'm sure there are plenty of other stories out there that are just like mine. No, they're not, because their
Yeah.
life dynamic is not your life dynamic. And you think about it, how many loaves of bread are at the grocery store? If Sarah Lee said, "Well, I'm not gonna make bread because Wonder been making bread for years." No,
Yeah.
there's so many different brands of bread and so many different versions of it, and they keep coming up with something else. So I don't want people to stifle their own success because they're comparing
Hmm.
themselves to someone else and they think that's perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. There is excellence. And I believe that when you
Hmm.
choose to share your story from a genuine and authentic, transparent place, it will make a difference in the life of someone else, and that you've done something greater than just writing a book. You've made a difference and changed lives.
Right, right. And I love, love, love your examples. I mean, that's just I mean, it's mind blowing. That's the perfect example. We all have a different skill and a different mission, and so we should share regardless. Okay, how regardless how scary it is and how you think it doesn't matter. All of that is this need to be shared, and that's one
Exactly.
of the missions and reasons for this this interview that we have I have every week, is because I know so many women that have a different story, and then I have so many that think theirs doesn't matter, whether it's good or bad. All right. So
Right.
I see fire emojis in the chat. I see hearts, and I see that's good. Okay, I like that. I said that too. That's good, girl. I love, love, love the way you broke that down. That was amazing. So my next question is, what message do you hope readers, when they read your book, take away from why I said yes?
The biggest thing I hope, if it's a female that reads the book, the biggest thing I hope they gain from it is to reevaluate the standard they set for themselves. Everything starts with you.
Mm,
What is the standard? Do you have a standard? And your standard is the platform from which to build on. So there were some absolutes that were non-negotiable for me. Do you have non-negotiables, absolute non-negotiables? Because I believe if we do, there's just some stuff we would not even tolerate. As soon as the red flag was shown, we don't have to say, "Well, is it really a red flag?" Because he does have no, ma'am. This is an
mm,
absolute. This is a standard that
mhm,
must be met. He does not meet that standard, and I move on. So we'll save ourselves some headaches. So I hope the women look at what it is they've established as the minimum standard, the characteristic standard they desire in a mate. On the flip side, if a man reads this book, I hope they, and especially now, mind you, this is for people who desire to be married, not folks that's just out here Netflixing and chilling. If they in their department and they just want to do what they do, this is not for you. But those who truly
it's not
desire
for you.
a godly marriage,
Mhm,
they want to live, they want a happily ever after to death do us parts situation. Then from the women's perspective, that's what I would say. But then from the male perspective, who might say, I'm looking for a wife. This is what I heard a guy say, and I was just working with a project of men. And one of the questions that was posed in them writing their book was, what was their evolution of when it comes to relationship and intimacy. And one young man said, as a younger man, he was moved by the looks of the woman, her beauty. That his premise for pursuing a woman started first with the beauty. He said, but as he matured, there was a scripture that says beauty. It's in Proverbs that says beauty comes but it fades, but a woman who fears the Lord is worthy to be praised. She has a higher value. So
mhm,
he said, so I
yeah.
shifted my perspective, and yes, I wanted a beautiful woman in my life, but I also wanted to see how she reverenced God. He said, and that made a difference.
Mhm,
And then what happened, it gave him a standard by which to converse and seek someone. So if a male is looking to have an established companionship, then I hope the book helps them to see that there are certain characteristics as a man you need to bring to the table. And that's not to say
Mm,
anyone's perfect, but it gives you a rule by which, or a guide or blueprint
mm,
by which to work on.
mm,
And so, because I make reference to the characteristics I saw in my husband, who was then my boyfriend, but I also give practical examples of how it was demonstrated. It wasn't just verbiage, it wasn't just a bunch of talk, it was in his actions.
exactly. And it was very powerful what you said about, pretty much the word I would say is boundaries. When you see those red flags, you got to have your boundaries. So
Right.
when they cross it, you don't just fall into, oh, but he's so cute and
Yeah.
he
Oh my
took
God.
me
And he
out of
took me to
town.
Memphis and oh, we flew,
Right,
blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, that
right,
sounds like a lot of fun. That
girl.
sounds like an
Stop.
amusement park. You rode the ride. Now you got to get back home. you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, Queens, what I want you guys to do in the chat, tell me what you've been called to say yes to during this season in your life. All right? Tell me. Give me some examples of what you have been called to say yes
That's
to
right,
during
Claire.
this season.
I
For
said, yes,
Claire
me.
said, me. I love that. Me. Right, right.
You know
Look at
that's
Brian,
right.
not the Netflix and the chill.
It's a whole lot of that going on.
Yeah. I love that, Claire. I love that. I do. All right. So, yeah. So, another question that I wanted to ask you, um, if every queen that's listening tonight, walked away remembering only one thing, what would you want that to be?
Your voice has value.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, your
That
voice
that
has value.
that says it all. That
That's
says
it.
it all. I
Period.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want y'all to type that in the chat. Your voice has value. Put that in the chat because I want you to. A lot of times when you see it, when you hear it, when you write it, it's gonna stay there. Okay, and I want you to know, just like Dr. Anissa, your voice has value. That is so very, very, very important to remember. I love that. Okay. So, look, the final word I want you to, before we move into our giveaway, I know y'all excited about the giveaway and about the Q&A, so y'all make sure y'all jot down all your questions for Dr. Anissa, because, I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'll be trying to get all the information I can. She taught with so much value. And so you need to take advantage of that. So let us know, Dr. Anissa, what final words of encouragement would you like to leave with the queens who are listening tonight? Especially the queens who know there is something inside of her that needs to be shared, but she is still has that fear. She's afraid of using her voice.
Well, here's the thing I would say is that the mere fact that you exist, that you were birthed, means that
Mm-hmm.
you are not any junk. God would not have allowed you to be born if there was not something significant about you. You have to believe that.
Right.
Truth be told. So that's let's start there first, right? And everything that happens
Okay.
in our life, the good, the bad, the indifferent, our lessons that we learned. And I don't want to downplay traumas and things of that nature, but the beautiful thing is that if you've overcome the trauma and you've
Mm-hmm.
lived through
Mm-hmm.
the trauma, then you have a
Yes.
testimony. And so there's someone waiting on the message. I believe every one of us has a message, and that message may even be one that develops into a movement. Our being here is to serve each other, and sometimes we look at serving each other as, volunteering or maybe joining organizations that allow us to serve. But even if you don't do that, I truly believe that everyone has a message that will serve a community. Even those of us who are a little more mature, the word of God tells us that the older women are to teach the younger women. And there's a scripture that makes
Mm-hmm.
reference to that, and they said to teach them to be good wives and how to take care of their children. Well, that may not sound extravagant or very, but that's necessary. But back in the Bible days, women didn't do they. That's what their job assignment was. They didn't work outside the home. Well, I took that a
Mm-hmm.
step further when I published the book Reach, Teach, Lead, and I encourage, if you have attained a certain level in life, you've overcome certain challenges in life, if you've experienced some things in life, we owe it to share so that the younger generation doesn't go through those doors or make those same mistakes, or at least they are given the tools they need for their toolbox. So when they find themselves faced with some of the things that we face, they have something by which to reach back to. But when we're quiet
Yes.
because we allow fear and shame to hold us back, then we don't heal, but we don't help either. So that's what I want you to take from my conversation today, is that you do have value. You are here. That's important enough. That is the proof that you have value. You are alive.
Yes.
So take what you've been given and the experiences that you have been blessed to live and share them. Someone needs to hear your story.
Yes. I truly, truly, truly love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm so glad that you shared. I mean, you shared your message so well, your mission to a T, and I love it. Okay, so what we're gonna do before we go into Q&A, we're going to do our giveaway. All right, who's ready for the giveaway? It's giveaway time, and we are doing it a little early, but hey, we put the flyers out, so y'all should have been here. Okay, so we do have some queens here, and so the first giveaway. Whoa, I'm knocking stuff over, y'all. So the first giveaway is, as usual, my book, Shift Your Confidence. It's a 15-day journey to firing those negative self-talk. So we're going to spin the wheel and give away a free copy of my book. Drum roll. Y'all ready?
Kirsten.
All right. Yay! Congratulations, congratulations, Kirsten. I hope I'm saying your name right. Y'all know Sweetie Pie. Queen. Congratulations. And okay, I'm saying it right. Great, great, great. I am super excited. So look, I want you to send your address, your information to the moderator. And it says Brian at INY Legacy. Send your information, a private message to him, so we can get that in the mail as soon as possible. All right. So now we're gonna ask Dr. Anissa, what is she giving away today?
Well, I have two books and they get a choice. So they get a choice of one or the other. Because I didn't know if they're a single woman and they desire marriage, then of course my most recent book is Why I Said Yes. They'll have that as an option. But whether there's if they're single and not really concerned about anybody right now, or they're happily married, or they're just happy with Jesus alone, then I have a copy of the book that I published in that debuted last year. It's a devotional. It's called The Quintessential Woman, and it's a 31-day like a journal slash devotional that is a leadership and legacy guide study from of the
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 31 woman. So it's like a Bible study, but I speak to the woman and to the reader from a leadership and legacy standpoint. So you get to choose.
Okay.
You can take Why I Said Yes or The Quintessential Woman. You won't go wrong with either one.
Okay, all right. I love that. Are y'all ready? Drum roll. I do pretty good on that drum roll, don't
You got
I?
that down pat.
Let's see who our winner is. I don't know why this thing is in my way. Maria,
Oh,
Maria, Miss, hello, and congratulations. You get to choose. Um, so let her know how she can get her book. You want her to send you a private message or
yeah, she should
on
send
one of
me.
your.
Let me see. Yeah, send me a private message with your address, and I can pop it in the mail to you.
All right, and let her know which one you choose. Okay, I ordered why I said yes. I ordered that one. Yes, yes, yes. I'm super excited. Congratulations to you both. I truly love that. Okay, so now, Dr. Anissa, share how everybody can connect with you as far as your social media. It would be in the chat. The moderator is going to put it in the chat that you can go ahead and kind of let them know how to check out what you do and what you're about in your mission, of course.
Okay. Well, my social media handles, if you go to Facebook or LinkedIn, I can be found at Dr. Anissa Short. You can go to my YouTube channel as well because as a podcaster, I upload episodes. So it's Dr. Anissa Short. I just keep it simple, sweetie. So either way, if you just type in Dr. Anissa, Anissa, short as in not very tall, then you can find me. Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, it's in the chat so you guys can see it, Dr. Anissa Short. All right. So now, if y'all have any questions for Dr. Anissa, I want you to drop them in the chat with a comment, or you can raise your hand either way and come forward with your question. We are going to do that now at this moment. And congratulations again to our winners. Any questions? Do we have any questions for Dr. Anissa Short? Any questions? Don't be shy. She said, congratulations. I love it. Kalia. Am I saying your name right, Kalia? I think I am. Are you still here? You got to be here
It's
in order
close,
to win.
but it's Kalila.
Kalila. Okay, all right. Beautiful. Girl, you have such a beautiful name. I love it.
Thank you.
I love that. All right. Any questions, guys? I don't see any hands raised. I don't see anything in the chat. I mean, but she did break it down good. So, hey, I could understand that. Okay, but I thank you so much. Okay. So, Queens, tonight we were reminded of some powerful things. Your voice has value. Your story matters. Your experience, all the different things, your testimony, your wisdom, all of that matters. Your voice has value. And someone may be waiting for the very thing you have been afraid to share. So share regardless how the fear kicks in. I don't care if your voice is like, because I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. I'm sure a lot of us have been there where it's hard to get it out, but you got to get it out. You got to share. And I mean, for me, it's all about being obedient to the word of God. All right. Yeah. So tonight we also had an opportunity to talk about ourselves, me as the president of Mississippi Corporate America, and Dr. Anissa Short as the vice president of Miss Mississippi Corporate America. Dr. Anissa, thank you for pouring into us tonight. Thank you for reminding us that our voice deserves to be heard. And thank you for saying yes to serving alongside me as vice president of Miss Mississippi Corporate America. I'm excited. I can't even stop talking about it. I am excited about what we are going to build together. I'm super excited about that. So, Queens, if this conversation bless you, please do not keep it to yourself. Share this live with another queen who needs to hear that her voice has value. All right? Tag another queen who has a powerful story, a message, a business, a book. I want you to tag them on YouTube and make sure you subscribe to YouTube. And also follow the Confident Shift on all social media platforms. It's the Confident Shift, okay? And make sure you watch, if you're watching the replay, or if you need to reiterate something that you heard, okay, go ahead and watch that replay. All right, especially if you missed part of it today, because we did have it earlier than usual. Okay, so every share helps us reach another queen who may need the encouragement to restart, rebuild, and rise. All right, So before we close, Dr. Anissa and I would also like to invite queens across Mississippi to learn more about what Miss Mississippi Corporate America is. We want to put Mississippi on the map because a lot of you already know that I was the first Miss Mississippi Corporate America. So we're trying to dive deeper and, of course, reach our mission. And so if you are currently looking, well, we are currently looking for women who are ready to grow personally, professionally, and as a leader in their community, all right? And if you have that thought, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have a modeling experience, I've never been in a pageant, all that kind of stuff, I hadn't either, all right? So I just was being obedient to the word of God because I knew it was part of the mission that he has for me, all right? So it doesn't matter if you're nervous, if you're never spoken on stage. Miss Mississippi Corporate America is about so much more than just wearing a crown. It's about confidence, leadership, and professional development, all of that good sisterhood, visibility. And Dr. Anissa, if you want to share what made you decide to say yes to Vice President, I would definitely love to hear that.
Well, first and foremost, I've been familiar with Miss Corporate America, the pageant itself, for a while. I followed it on Facebook. So I knew the mission behind the existence of the pageant. It wasn't just about looking pretty and walking across the stage. Were making a difference to spotlight the impacts of women and to make a difference in the lives of women. And as someone who's worked with women for years and as an entrepreneur, someone who works with women as a publisher, it just aligned to the mission of what I'm doing. So I believe that being a part of this platform gives me a greater platform for which to make a difference. I'll have opportunity to meet women I would not have otherwise had an opportunity to meet. And not only will I be able to make an impact on them, but because of this community, I will become stronger as well. So I mentioned earlier,
yes,
the community for which you choose to be around will make a difference in the trajectory of your life. And so that's why I have respect for the organization and what it represents. And so why not say yes?
Yes, I love that. I love that. And Queens, like if you are interested, you can put I'm interested in the chat, or you can reach out. You see her social media platform. So you can reach out to her. You can reach out to me. We would love to speak with you and share more information about coming a contestant, or even if you would like to become, sponsorship or donate. And also, you heard me talk about Dr. Anissa Short has a podcast as well. So I know that a lot of the queens that are listening right now, they have small businesses. They have amazing stories that you can actually, reach out to. And of course, you can come back and share even more on my platform, because I believe it's all about exposure, and getting your story out there and connecting with other people who really need your service. All right. So if y'all are interested in being on this platform, you feel like this is an opportunity to be seen, heard, and empowered while also sharing your wisdom to other women, you can fill out my intake form and become a guest. Go to shipyourconfidence.com. All right, shipyourconfidence.com. We go live each and every Thursday. All right, so Queens, your supporting us, continues creating platforms that allow women to share their story. And I love that. And this topic today was absolutely perfect. All right, it was perfect. So I just want to say, my name is Samantha Hill, aka Miss Mississippi Corporate America, now president of Miss Mississippi Corporate America, and I thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Thank you and good night.
Restart, rebuild, restart, rebuild, restart, rebuild. created this queen. Elegance, power on the scene. Restart, rebuild, rise, restart, rebuild, rise, restart, rebuild, rise. Watch a real queen come alive. I'm the prize. You're the prize. We're the prize. Restart, rebuild, rise.
Good night, everybody.